I made it, and one of my first instincts was actually not to call anyone. Like my first instinct was just to go, all right, hold on a second. Let me get dialed in here, because there's no way that this just happened. I have never made a hole in one in my life. And I just made it on a 283-yard par 4 on a course I played dozens of times. So like my first step was to like actually analyze what exactly I just did.
Did I tell you about my Albatross? Hey, yo, here we go. Come on.
Welcome to another episode of Did I Tell You About My Albatross? I'm your host, Albie. This is the golf podcast for honest degenerates. It's like teaming up with your favorite foursome every week and diving into the best stories in and around golf. You guys ready to tee off? Let's go!
We out of chilling.
I think this guy needs no introduction. Mr. Matthew Scharff from Good. Thanks for joining us, Matt.
Hey.
This is
Absolutely.
This is incredible.
Thank you so much for having me on. I mean, I'm just so happy to. I've been really trying to tell myself I want to do more podcasts recently, and my team came across the email and they said, "Hey, and you want to try and make this work?" And I said, "Absolutely." I was super stoked. So I'm just glad that we got it dialed in. And I'm here, man.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again. But well, Matt, first of all, let me just kind of share. I don't know if you've heard the story. Let me just share with you, just to give you some context on what happened to me. And yours is well documented. I'm going to dive all into yours, man. I really want to spend some time on it because it's just, I think there's something beyond, just a lucky or a good shot with all this stuff. Something's going on here, man. Like I that's my belief. But anyway, to give you some context, all right, member tournament, the year's 2020. My buddy and I, it's a 2-day tournament. We finish on Pine 1, which is a par 5 at our country club here in Tampa, Florida. And I hit a good drive, which was crazy, Matt. I was all over the place that whole entire weekend. Like, it was just amazing. I even found the fairway. Then I was 247 out, 3-wood. It goes in, which is crazy. But that's not even the crazy part. We go in and turn our scorecard in, Matt, and then we realize that going into that hole, we were 3 shots back. So with the walk-off Albatross, we end up tying for the tournament win. And I mean, like, I thought immediately, Matt, I thought I was going to be famous. I thought, like, immediately, that Sports Center, that Scott Van Pelt, like, I didn't know how it worked. Like, I was just like, am I going to do Fallon? Like, I didn't know what was going on. So none of that happened. No one cares about my shot. And my buddies are so sick of me talking about it. My wife, if I tell her again, she's going to leave me. So I was like, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to tell the entire world about it until someone hears me. So anyway, I went deep on it. Like, I figured out, I hired a data scientist to figure out the odds on this thing. And to be in that predicament, an Albatross is your last shot to be 3 shots back. He came back with 1 in 600 million were the odds. So anyway, man, I just, for context, when I see your video, and I've watched it a million times, I get goosebumps because I know that feeling when you run towards everyone's like, laughing at, dude, I get it. Like, I totally get it. It's just an incredible feeling. So
That's insane. Yeah, I was reading up on your little bio and like trying to read the story, and I was like, this sounds absolutely there's no way that this is like, because I remember a video that me and Garrett did a long time ago. It was a challenge called like the 10 birdies challenge, and it was the first person who could make 10 birdies. And we get going through. I have I think we're like on the final hole, and Garrett needs a hole in one to win. And it's like I'm like at 9, and he needs a hole in one to win or whatever. And he steps up at the junior course, and he drains it on me. Like, he needed to make it, and he made it. And it's a video that not a lot of people talk about. It's very, like, it was very old days, so it didn't really get that many views. It was when I first started. And he makes it on hole number 6 on the junior course. And it was just something that I could not believe. So, like, when I was trying to read that little bio you had, I was like, this is exactly how he felt. Like, absolute, there's no way. And obviously, to make an Albatross and do it, do it that way is just even more impressive. And that was just, I'm so glad you explained it, because that story sounds
If I could
insane. Jump
through the screen and hug you right now, I would, dude, because you're like the only guy that gets it. Like, I've told, like, my friends are like, yeah, dude, but you didn't, it wasn't filmed, or like, they just come up with, I'm like, yep. Come on, man, like, it's just a coincidence, and I get it. Like, for me, it's a lucky shot. Like, I'm a 4 handicap. I mean, it's not, but it's just, and so that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. It's like, I was going through some of your old videos, man, before we had this thing scheduled, and you actually called it, like, when you were going through all the back challenge. I think it was like October. Well, actually, I wrote it down. It was October, 2022 maybe. And you had said, hey, man, you were like just giving everyone an update on where you were at. And you had told everyone, hey, it's okay. I'm going to recover. and I'm gonna make another hole-in-one, which was crazy. Like, I mean, I don't like you actually called it like then. I don't know if you thought about that. Like, that to me is insane. Did you realize that you did that, or have you thought of that?
Me? No. I mean, when I said that, I'll be quite frank. It was like, all right, it's going to happen at some point. I know it, like, some way, somehow, but it's going to be on a par 3, brother. Yeah. It ain't going to be on a par 4. That is not any way that I was thinking, all right, I'm going to make another Albatross, and it's going to be 360 yards, and I'm going to be the man. No chance, especially with my back problems, thinking, like, I'm not probably going to be able to hit another green again off the tee box. Like, I have to switch my whole swing. Like, things are going to happen to where I don't get that power that, with my old drivers, I could hit 370 easy. I'd beat I was one of the longest hitters, and I could outdrive Mike. I outdrive Bubby. I could outdrive everybody easy if I wanted to. And then that happened, and I was like, I'll make another one. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be like on a 160-yard par 3. Like, come on, guys. Right?
Well, it's nuts, man. Like, even this challenge you guys did, like the hole-in-one challenge, which was just crazy. First of all, I can't believe that. Well done. I mean, the production and everything was just unreal, man. Like, you guys got it dialed. Like, it's crazy. And then the fact that you guys actually did it was nuts to me. I mean, I'm sitting there watching the whole thing. I'm like, I don't know if these, like, anyway. How fun was that?
No, that was, oh man. Like, when we started thinking about ideas that we wanted to do on our live stream, we were like, all right, what do we want to do? Do we just want to like a little 2v2, 3v3? That's a par 3 course. It's going to be fairly easy to do, whatever. And then, of course, all of us idiots were like, oh, let's do a hole-in-one challenge. Oh, that'll be. I'm like, you guys don't understand how hard this is. It's not just, you don't just go and do it. Like, who do we think we are? Obviously, we've done lots of these challenges in the past, and we're like, all right, it's a fairly short. We can move up the tee boxes, whatever. And then, of course, we go around the whole 18, and like AJ was close the entire day. The man almost made 4 hole-in-ones on the first 18. I was like, we might get this done pretty quickly. And then we start playing, 12, 13, 14. No one's getting really close anymore. I was like, see, that's what I'm saying, guys. We're going to waste a whole day here. It just started. Everyone's energy starts going down, and just you can imagine what happens after you hit over 200 shots. Totally. So like people are like, all right, we just got to wrap it up, and everyone's starving. You can't really get food on the course. So all these things are coming into play. And then all of a sudden we step up to the 19th hole, and Garrett's like, everybody just sit in the cart. I got this. And we're like, who do you think you are? Like, you're not going to. And then of course we're playing like 7 irons and chipping it now. Because we're like, if we play the runner, then we got a better chance. And of course I stayed in the cart and I watch it, and man drains it. And I was like,
unreal,
you got to be kidding me.
I know, it's crazy. That's so cool.
And I don't think people quite understand that, like, you can give one person 215 shots playing that course. They will not make it. I can guarantee you won't make it. Like, it ain't. The hole-in-ones are not just like, oh, well, I'll eventually get it. You probably won't. They're incredibly hard. Everything has to go perfectly. You got to hit the right bump, and it's got to carry the wind. All the factors that you can think of have to be perfect. And sometimes it amazes me that sometimes our group can just go, all right, well, we'll get it figured out and we'll make it eventually.
So, I mean, but, I think part of that is like the beliefs. So as silly as the Albatross is, I mean, I get it. It's luck, whatever you want to call it. But it taught me anything's possible, dude. Like, it really did. Like, it was like, all right, so you know what? Like, and I've literally, Matt, like, I've lived a little differently since that moment. So, like, when it happened, I grew up playing golf with my dad. My dad's passed away, and it was bittersweet because when it happened, the first person I wanted to call was my dad. Who was the first person? One of the questions I had for you is, who's the first person you called when you drained your first one, and then also this last one?
Yeah. That's yeah. I mean, the easy answer is my wife. Like, that was obviously we weren't married after my first one was done, but yeah, she was definitely one of the first people I called, and she doesn't really like quite understand golf back then the way that she does now. So like, I called her and I was like, hey, honey, I just created history. No big deal. She's like, what'd you do? And I was like, oh, I just made a hole-in-one on a par 4. She's like, oh my gosh, that's great.
She had no idea.
That's it? No, honey, I just created history. I don't think you understand. So, like, I'm trying to explain it to her and what it means. And then she eventually is like, oh, my gosh, like, wow. And she's looking up the odds, and it's, like, insane. It's in the millions. And she's like, whoa, you did that? So she was one of the first people I called. Obviously, I already had all my buddies there. Garrett, Micah, Steven, Bubby, Grant, all the guys were already there. Colin, Max, Luis was on one of the cams. So those were the first people that I would have called.
Right.
If I was out there filming a video for like my own channel, I would have called all of them on a FaceTime and been like, I just did something unreal. So they were all there, already got to experience it. And then I did call my parents as well and told them that, hey, I just did something insane. And they're obviously freaking out. You know, my dad loves golf. My mom doesn't really follow golf or anything, but they follow along with my journey, which I absolutely love. So I got to call them and tell them, and they lit up and were just absolutely in shock like everyone else.
Wow.
But it was weird because, like, I made it, and one of my first instincts was actually not to call anyone. Like, my first instinct was just to go, all right, hold on a second. Let me get dialed in here, because there's no way that this just happened. I have never made a hole in one in my life. And I just made it on a 283-yard par 4 on a course I played dozens of times. So, like, my first step was to, like, actually analyze what exactly I just did and what exactly we just did for the YouTube golf community too. Like, the implications that this has is potentially millions and millions and millions of views and more followers and more subscribers and, like, more eyeballs on our channel and on Good. So I was like, all right, hold on. And, like, I kept trying to tell myself, like, did I actually do that? Like, that's the weirdest thing is, like, when you do it, and I'm sure you had this feeling, is you make it, everyone's like, and you're just going, did I seriously just do that? And sometimes I go back and watch the videos and I'm like, there's nothing special about the day, right? It's not like I drained everything I looked at and I was making shots. It was literally my third hole of the day.
That's crazy.
You know? And then I'm just, and obviously one of the hardest parts is, like, waiting to be able to, like, release the video. Cause then I'm like,
think about that.
Okay, so I gotta wait. Right. Yeah, I gotta wait a month for this to come out, and I gotta keep my freaking mouth shut. I can't tell anyone. And the one thing I want to do is be like, guys, I did it. I finally made a hole in one, and, like, tell everybody. And now I gotta be quiet. So that was one of the hardest things to do as well. But once it came out, I was telling everyone about it. I was telling all my people that I follow on Instagram, all my Instagram buddies, and all my buddies back home and stuff. And so it was a busy couple of weeks, but once it came out, I was just telling everybody that I could.
No, I mean,
or they would somehow tell me first, and I'd be like, geez, all right. Hey, how you doing? You came out of the woodwork, you know? So
I had the exact opposite, process. Like, no one cared. I called my wife, like, to your point, my wife was like, yeah, that's great. You got a kid. Like, at the time we only had one, we had one kid at the time. And she's like, that's great. So I've been watching the kid all day. And when are you going to be here to, I'm sorry. All right, honey, I'll be there soon. And the fact you guys have it on camera, I think that's, so the difference is the fact that you guys have it videoed is just unreal. Like, that is anyway.
That's what's always going to be, like, just insane in my mind is a lot of people dream of making hole-in-ones, and then the ones that do make hole-in-ones, they just make them. And, like, they don't get them on camera. You typically don't film it. Right. Like, when am I ever going to film that hole? Even if I was filming that by myself, just, like, on my phone, I would probably film the tee shot, but, like, I'm not going to, like, zoom in and make sure to get the second angle and all that crap. I'm like, I'm just hitting a tee shot here. Like, there's absolutely no way. The 283, like, that one's a little different because it's like, all right, if you have the ball speed and the power, there's a chance, there's a little bit of a chance, and maybe it'd be 0.1%, but there is a chance for me to potentially make this one because I can actually get it to the green.
Right.
So that's definitely the only difference that I would have between the two. Like, the 360, never in my life would I say I'm getting there. Never.
Dude,
never. There's crazy. Even right now, I'm not getting to the green. You know what I'm saying? So there is always that, like, 0.001% chance that it's like, all right, I can hit the ball 280. I can get there with my 3-wood. I know I can. I can hit it that far. So there's that 0.01% chance saying that, you never, lucky bounce, you never know, kind of thing.
So you said you've always been sort of one of the longest hitters, like, out of your group. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had these two guys. I had these two guys. I want to ask you this. I had these two guys on. They're long drive guys. I know you guys have hung out with a bunch of them, but they were saying that they, like, this blew my mind. They were saying during a practice session, they'll go through 3 or 4 or 5 balls where they're cracked. Like, they'll literally crack the golf ball. Have you ever cracked the golf ball?
I don't think I've ever cracked a golf ball, but I have cracked many club faces.
Yes.
So one of my old Cobras when I was on the range at just one of our local ranges here. I stepped up and just cranked one, and I looked at my driver, and the back piece had fallen off in the middle of the face, was cracked. Wow. And I was like, huh? But that also is due to the fact that when you go to the range and you're using the freaking floaters, right? The Pinnacle hard, one-layered golf ball, typically if you have a higher ball speed, that's how some of those like Kyle Berkshire and those guys, Martin, like they can break golf balls because like like their ball speed is like 10 times faster than mine. So they can, with their club head speed and stuff, getting through the ball easily can crack balls. But I would be more so worried that if that ball makes contact with your club face, it's going to crack it almost instantly. I feel like, like I was even playing with one of my buddies, Sam Murphy, on the range, and we were using kind of those crappy balls, and he cracked his 2-iron. He was just hitting it normally. Jeez. Because the balls, they get used so much and they're super hard, you can easily crack them. You don't even have to have a super fast ball speed. You just have to hit the center of the face and just get unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, that blew my. I couldn't believe it. Like with your point, like so this guy that we had on, his name's Sam, and he basically, I think he's one of like 3 or 4 people. Kyle's like one of the others, but he has a ball speed of over 240 miles an hour, which is like there's like maybe a handful of people that's ever done that. And then you take like Cam Champ, who has like the fastest ball speed on tour, and he's at like 190 or like 180 something. It's like, I mean, it's just insane. I mean, it's crazy like the difference that those guys get. So anyway, man, how is the back? Like, so, I mean, I know you've had to change your swing around a little bit. Like, I mean, whenever I see, I'm just like, oh man, I'm always like, man, I just hope he's staying healthy. And is it something in the back of your head? Are you fully recovered or?
Yeah. The back is just an unfortunate ongoing struggle. It's definitely better. I've had, obviously I had that whole swing change, and I had to like kind of take a break from golf for a little bit and kind of reevaluate my swing and like really take some time to figure some things out. And ever since then, it's gotten a little better. Unfortunately, I don't know if it ever will get back to 100%. And that's, I think, the thing that always lingers in my mind is I just don't know that I'll ever be able to get it to 100% because like I can do all, I got like chiropractic sessions and, I'm seeing doctor visits about it. And obviously I was doing a bunch of like facet injections and steroid epidurals. And I was doing, all the stretching and like I could do pretty much everything I can other than surgery, like avoiding surgery. I even got like an RFA, which is a very minimal invasive surgery where they have to cut you open just a little bit because the needles are a little bit bigger and they kind of burn the nerves. So like I've done pretty much everything I can other than surgery, but I just, it's just never, I don't think it can ever be 100% unless somehow I can just take my spine out and just get a completely new one. I think that's the only way that I would ever be able
I'm
to
a tech guy. I have a tech back. Hey, we'll work on it for you.
AI spine, baby.
No, it's crazy. I have neck issues and problems, and there's nothing like, and I've had back spasms and all that. But dude, there's nothing more debilitating than having that kind of. It's just a different kind of pain than really anything else that at least I've ever dealt with. So anyway,
yeah, it's like the golf swing is it's like catered around like the back is literally the most important part of your swing. Other than like, your legs, like you need your legs to kind of drive some power and stuff and those sorts of things. But like your back is just, it's already such a delicate piece of your body. And like the fact that I have to go play golf and I got to twist and I got to rotate. And, maybe sometimes I dig into the ground a little bit too hard and then I kind of like pull out a little bit and I can kind of feel that. Sometimes like I just filmed a match and after the round, my back was kind of hurting. And it didn't really hurt all around, but when I'm swinging it by myself playing a match and I have to hit 18 drives, or 14 drives or whatever it is, it can kind of wear and tear on me a little bit. But as of right now, the good news, the upside is that it feels much better. Good. Like it's felt better than it ever has. And I think if I keep doing my appointments and keep stretching, and unfortunately won't be able to, hit a lot of tee shots in the scrambles anymore. I obviously a lot of people in the fans have seen like I don't hit tee shots if I can avoid it. Like those sorts of things will probably never change again, unfortunately. Yeah. But, if there's a drivable par 4, I'm going to step up and I'm going to try and hit it and see if somehow we can recreate history again, and I try my best to go for it on par 5s and, those sorts of things. But for right now, it does feel the best.
Well, that's good to hear, man. What, all All right, I got a couple fun questions for you. So, what's the one of my favorite things about you guys are these challenges. Like you guys, obviously you've inspired so many of the creator community to kind of do these challenges and different things. What is your favorite one? I mean, everything from the frying pan to like, I mean, you guys have done it all. What's your favorite one?
Oh my goodness. I think right off the bat, one of my favorite ones is the Wheel and Not Ideal challenges that we do. I think they just bring up lots of memories for me. You know, me, Garrett, and Steve, when we started doing this whole thing, like the wheel was insane. It was like a turn of the YouTube golf century. Like it was just something that nobody had ever seen, and somehow we created just something that was so fun and something that seemed so non-golf related. Like we were playing with spatulas and we literally hit burgers. Like we were, playing with tongs and like all this sort of stuff. Like we were literally trying to make it so not golf related so everybody could be like, yeah, hey, we could go play and do this for fun, So that one brings up a lot of memories for me, and I always love the Wheel and Not Ideal when we play it.
No, so I love silly. Like that. The whole reason I started this crazy thing is because I just love silly, and like I love like I have two co-hosts that do this thing with me. We go by we have head covers that are crazy. Like one of them was this guy had a weird name. His name's Lakin. So, but he had an amazing head cover, and it was a panda. And so we call him Panda, and he's just been Panda. I think his wife calls him Panda now. But long story short, Panda was we were talking one day, and the argument came up where you had this TGL league, the Tomorrow Golf League, and they're gonna be hitting, and I realize they're gonna be hitting off regular turf, but we were looking into it, and I guess there's a whole simulator league. I didn't know this. There's a whole simulator league of pro guys, and that's what they do, and you can win money and everything else. And my argument was that I think you take a PGA pro and you put him against a simulator guy who does that all day long and competes on it. I bet the simulator guy has some sort of an advantage just because he's hitting off mats and so on. And Panda, that would be my thought. But Panda came and said, "Oh, Scotty Scheffler can hit a golf ball off a plate of spaghetti or a pile of spaghetti." And Matt, I couldn't get out of my head, dude. I couldn't get out of my head. So now what we've been doing is we've been cooking all kinds of pasta, and we've been going around and we've just been hitting all types of golf. I'm talking about penne, angel hair, al dente. We've been doing all kinds. And I just love, that's the stuff that I love that more than, like I could care less what Jordan Spieth is thinking about this week in the tournament. Like, I mean, I'm interested. I am interested in that stuff, but for me, I care more if Scotty Scheffler can hit a ball off a plate of spaghetti to me, So I really appreciate that.
And that's the truth. That's the truth of it, man. And honestly, the fans love to see it too. Like fans love to see. Obviously, I love to see pros in their element. I love going to tournaments. We just were at the American Express and we played in the Pro-Am, and we got to watch. We played with Min Woo, so like we got to experience like up close one of the best golfers in the world do it, and averaging like 190 ball speed. Like he hits it like an animal. He's a beast. And we've watched many, many others, so it's like I love watching him in that element, and it's so fun, and it makes me want to go play more golf. But then it's like, dang, this, Jordan Spieth's 120 yards out. Let's see a 4-iron flop in the green, brother.
That'd be fun.
You got that in the bag or not? And somehow he'll probably pull it off. It's Jordan Spieth. But I got a pretty solid chance of beating him because I 4-iron flop all the time from that yardage, and I'm pretty solid. So like when you watch John Rahm do the skip over the water, right? And we had all those pros when we went to the Callaway event, had all the pros doing the same thing, like hitting little skip shots and trying to skip it on and hit it on the green. Like I want to see them do those sorts of things, and everybody in the golf space wants to see that too. Like they want to see the pros do stuff that they've never done.
Do you think they want to do it? Like I think they want to do it.
Oh, Rahm! Oh my gosh, dude! We could have given Rahm 2 buckets of balls, and he would have done nothing the rest of the day.
That.
Like he was telling us how he absolutely loves this more than golf.
All right.
Like he's like, I wish I could just sit here and hit trick shots all day. I want to like not worry about where my shots go or if I top it in the water. Like he's like, I just want to be doing this. And Sam Burns and Xander, like Ricky, even like they all like to do those sort of fun kind of things because they know they're good at golf. John Rahm doesn't need to go practice golf. He's freaking good. But he's not good at skipping it over the water, so he likes to practice that. Like he finds more joy in doing those sorts of things. So I definitely think that a lot of the pros, I'd say probably 90% of the pros really, really do enjoy doing those sort of crazy things.
You just made my night. That's great. No, I was always curious about that because, I mean, yeah, to your point, like for me, my favorite golfers are the creative ones. Like they're the ones that can, they just hit ridiculous. They just have an imagination. And I think that's what they love. They love playing around with it. They love to do it. So,
They really do.
All right, so man, I got we asked a couple of questions on our show to all of our guests, and they're silly. They're not even golf related. Well, one is, and I know your mom's a nurse, right? Or she's been a nurse forever. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So maybe she would be a better person to ask this, but one of the things that came up is, all right, after a certain number of subscribers, I don't even have the number yet, but after a certain number of subscribers, I'm never going to tell the Albatross story again, which would be like a huge loss for me. And, of course, my co-hosts were like, dude, there's no chance. Like, you're going to be playing Pine 1, and you're going to be playing with a bunch of, like, maybe jabronis for whatever reason, and some guy's going to skip one up there on the green, and they're going to say, oh, my God, that's the best shot I've ever seen on this hole, and you're not going to, pipe up and be like, oh, I got an Albatross here. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm a man of my word. Like, I'm not going to do that. And he said, all right, well, what are you going to do if you do? So we talked about, he said you should eat the golf ball. So I actually have the golf ball that I hit the Albatross with, and he said you got to eat it. And then we started thinking, like, do you think that would kill? Like, can a human being, Matt Scharff, can a human being eat a golf ball or swallow it and survive?
My initial reaction is to say that no, or say yes. Like, it'll just pass through your system. Like, it's gonna hurt. I think and. You may, there's a good chance no, I'm sure you'll probably be able to push it out. But like, my initial reaction is to say yes, because I feel like the human body could take it. I feel like you're going to be damaging some things along the way. Right. But that's a great question. I bet my mom would also be kind of perplexed as to how to answer that, because like, as a nurse, as she's seen everything.
I can imagine.
She's seen things lodged in places and things sticking out of people when they walk in. So like, I bet she would probably say that you could survive. Like, you probably would have to just go to the hospital and they could, all else fails, they can just take it out.
Yeah. I go back and forth with it.
If I just sat here and swallowed a golf ball, could I even swallow? That's what we don't know. Am I going to be able to get that down?
It kills you. I don't know. I think you could suffocate. I don't know, man. This is the kind of stuff that drives me crazy. I can't sleep at night over this question. It's driving me nuts. I think you die. I don't think you can do it. And by the way, we're not recommending anyone to eat a golf ball. Let me go ahead and put that disclaimer out there.
Yeah, no, we're not. That's not.
But it's just a great question, because you ask 100 people, you're going to get 50 one way and 50 the other. That's what I love, those types of questions.
Because I also feel like you'll do that, and there is a great chance that it could just get stuck right here.
Yes.
And then you can't breathe, and then obviously you're going to die soon. But like, if you do somehow and you get it, like, but what if you get stuck right here?
Then get stuck anyway.
Does it just? I
don't know. Now Panda thinks, now his rebuttal, he says people swallow swords. Great point. It's a great point. People do swallow swords. I don't. So you know what? I don't know.
Yeah, but a sword is.
That's true.
Swords like this, and like you can get it down here. And I also think sword swallowing is a complete joke. Like, there's no way they're swallowing a real double-bladed edge sword that can cut like a log.
Yeah,
in
it's
half
definitely
down their throat.
So it's a trick, right? I have no idea. It's probably. I'm sure it's
or it's just a sword that's like dull and like it doesn't cut anything. Yeah. First of all, okay, they ain't shoving real swords down their throat, or else they'd literally cut. They'd be bleeding. There's no chance. But then, like, you got to think of a golf ball here.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me that. Like, there's no way that's just going to sit there.
I think you're dying.
And go. I think there's a great chance it gets stuck right here.
Oh, dude, thank you. So you've actually put some thought and some care into answering that question. Thank you. Like, a lot of people just kind of laugh it off. I think it's a great question. I got another good one for you. Are there more eyes or legs in the world? Now, I'm talking about anything that's alive. Are there more eyes or legs in the world?
Oh, I love these questions. I see them on TikTok all the time. So this is animals, this is mammals, this is herbivore, this is everything that ever existed.
We're talking about the whole deal.
Because you gotta eliminate every fish. They got no legs.
Thank you.
Pretty much.
Yeah, some dude was trying to tell me that tentacles count as legs. I'm like, no, they're tentacles. No, they
don't. That's not a leg. You're talking about legs, like this leg, like you're. And technically, like, if you're thinking about a lion, they walk on. Is it four legs technically?
I think those count as legs. I'll give those legs. And I think crabs probably have 4 legs. I mean,
because spiders have 8 legs. So if you that's 8 times however many spiders are in this world.
Centipedes.
But then if you calculate the fish and they have no legs, like how many fish are in the world? Like, I think eyes win.
Eyes win.
I think eyes win.
I think eyes have it
by a mile.
ChatGPT says legs. I think it's eyes because of, like, exactly, like there's fish that we don't even know about out there. So I mean, to me, it's fish. But
yeah, and we haven't even been in all of the sea.
Exactly.
Like we've explored like 10% of the sea. We haven't even been, deep in the Mariana Trench. There's there's the megalodon down there. He's chilling. So we got a couple of them at least. I think eyes take it by a long shot.
See, we're on the same page, man. We're agreeing on the golf ball thing and on the eyes versus legs, and we also have albatross.
And if we do, so I mean, we're just connecting right off the bat. But like, think about it. Some humans also are born without limbs, so some are born without legs.
Are they? I guess.
But
wow,
typically,
yeah, I didn't think of that.
Typically, all humans have eyes, don't they? So people aren't born with. You can't be born with no eyes, or can you?
I didn't even realize you could be. I mean, this is. I'm going to sound really ignorant. We might edit this part out because I don't want to sound too stupid. But I mean, I didn't realize you could be born without legs. I didn't know that. I mean, I'm sure you can. Yeah.
Or you could be born with like you might have to get amputated at a really young age or something. So you could be born with just one leg, but you have two eyes. So then you try and calculate. I mean, I don't know. You could I mean. That's probably just such a small margin.
Yeah,
but
no, it's crazy, man. Anyway, so we did this. It's funny we were talking about legs and arms and eyes and all this stuff. We did the one arm. We did this one arm bandit challenge where we did, and you guys have probably already done this, and I just didn't see it, but we did where one guy throws the ball. So he has a guy throwing the golf ball, and then you have another guy who plays with any club in his bag, but he can only play with one arm. And who do you think? And we played from the red tees. We played 9 holes at our local club here. Who do you think wins in that? And they're both scratch golfers. Well, who do you think wins?
Did you participate?
I filmed it. So
who was playing? Panda
and my other co-host Shepard. Yeah, and they're both really good golfers. But
I want to say Panda took the dub.
Dude, you are spot on tonight. You're on fire. Yeah, no, Panda. So Panda, I guess he slung the javelin in high school, so he can sling.
Oh, he's clutch.
Dude, I've never seen anyone throw a golf ball like this dude. You'd never he looks like Ted Lasso. Like he looks very unassuming. Like you're looking at him like, oh, this guy, he's not gonna be able to throw a golf ball very far. The dude can sling it. I'm talking about 100. So he averaged about 110 yards slinging the golf ball, and then he kind of cheated with the putting, though. He'd kind of lean over and do the whole roll thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are you supposed to do with that, though, right? Like, are you supposed to get down on the ground and, like,
golden tee it?
Roll it in? Yeah. Like, yeah. I don't know. That was kind of tough. But you also kind of take some risk if you're going to try and do that because you could easily throw it long and miss. So.
True. But he's not going to throw it in the water. That was the thing. Like, the other guy, he went out. But it came out on the last hole. It was good. So I do have one more question. So this creator, first of all, anything you want to promote, like anything, I know you guys have this event coming up, which I'm excited about. Anything, do you guys have anything else going on that you can talk about or that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I would say the event on February 7th is probably the one thing that I would love to promote.
Yeah.
Obviously, we are all super, super busy trying to figure out, people and making sure people are dialed in and trying to get people to come, like the featured groups and trying to get some more celebrities to join us and people that are not necessarily in the golf space trying to come. So, February 7th, if you guys have not bought tickets yet, please buy some tickets and invite your friends and your family to come down and watch. And I think that would probably be the biggest thing. We're going to have some apparel there that you can purchase as well that we're doing specifically for the drop. So this is one of the shirts. It's like obviously it's like for the waste management. But like this is the green.
No way. That's
kind of shirt we have a hoodie of this that we're actually going to be selling, and then this one's going to be like just for Golf Galaxy, and we've got some polos and some hats and stuff that we're doing too. So if you come down, you'll get like a limited release drop that you can also purchase. So yeah, that would probably be the only thing.
No, Matt. Well, I mean, you guys, your apparel, like just your brand in general, but I mean, you guys just knock it out of the park, man. And it's it's not easy. Like, I mean, and then to try to be on the cutting edge and actually push the limits, which you guys are really good at. Like, you guys are actually not only at the top of it, but you're actually establishing the trends a lot of times, which has got to be tough, man. I don't know how you guys do it, but yeah, man, we'll have to. I think I might show up and.
No, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see you, man. That'd be sick. That'd be awesome if you.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, Matt, dude, I can't thank you enough, man. This is amazing, and it's just literally the one guy. I mean, I have a podcast about Albatross. Who better could I have? You know, so
No,
I'm
so stoked that we got it working out, man. I'm sorry about all the miscommunication and all this kind of stuff that was going on, but I'm glad we figured it out and we got to sit down and talk. This has been a blast.
Awesome. All right, Matt. Well, until we meet again, my man. Thanks so much.
Of course. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Did I tell you about my Albatross?
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't miss out on our upcoming golf giveaways and experiences. They're exclusive to our subscribers, and all you got to do is subscribe. And until next time, golf's easy. Think fairways and greens.
Oh, here we go. Come on. Did I tell you about my Albatross? Hey.